So like and subscribe if you want to. The Hawks have signed Bogdan Bogdanovic. The Kings chose to not match his contract offer. And I guess for the Kings' sake, it's a matter of roster flexibility, and drafting Tyrese Halliburton also made the decision a little easier for them. This is all according to Woj. For Atlanta's sake, they get themselves another veteran who can help them out right now. For the Bucks' sake, well, of course they lost out on Bogdan. I don't really know who to blame in that Bucks situation, whether it's the Kings, the Bucks, both teams, outside forces. Should I just say that the NBA needs to chill because everybody's tampering anyway? I don't exactly know. But to think about this for the Hawks, they should be a good offensive team. I mean, you got Trae Young and Bogdan, two guys who can play in the pick and roll. And, I mean, Trae's going to beat defenders off the dribble more so than Bogdan, but Bogdan can do it more than anybody else on the roster. I mean, Gallo is certainly a threat as well as John Collins, but those guys aren't really just breaking down defenders like that. Granted, Bogdan wasn't doing that all the time in Sacramento. There were times when he was just playing off the ball, and I imagine that's going to happen with Atlanta as well. But I think he's going to get more opportunity than he did in Sacramento. At least I would think. But then when I think about it, he might be the fourth option on this team. I mean, Trae, Collins, and Gallo all might shoot more than Bogdan does. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. Of course, there's some reason to think that Collins might not be on the Hawks long term, between him wanting a max contract and them drafting a Kongwu and signing Gallo and all that. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I just feel like if you wanted to see Bogdan really get a lot more shot attempts and all that, I don't know if it's going to come in Atlanta, to be honest with you. I mean, you can stagger minutes, and I think there's a good amount of variety within the offense between, of course, Trae doing his normal stuff, getting screens and all that, but also Collins and Gallo setting screens for Bogdan, and if teams are going to switch that, there's chances to attack off of that, whether it's Gallo or Collins post-ups or Bogdan trying to go at a bigger guy, that sort of thing. I'm guessing Bogdan's going to start. I mean, you give him that sort of money, and I would just assume he does, which means now Herter, Hunter, and Reddish are all going to be coming off the bench. And I think with Bogdan, we're probably just going to see him still taking a lot of threes off the catch and that sort of thing. Because, again, I just don't know if we're going to see him just running the show as much as we would think he can if it was a different team that didn't have as many guys who could score. But having multiple dudes who can shoot and dribble and attack mismatches, that's always a good thing to have. So I don't want this to sound super negative for Atlanta's sake. It's just, I don't think we're going to see Bogdan attempt way more shots. I mean, last year for Sacramento, he took 12 shots a game, 7 threes a game. It could be a little bit more with the Hawks, but I just don't think it's going to be a crazy difference. Now, the one thing this does do is it gives you another guy to allow Trae Young to move off the ball. And we hope that Trae really embraces that, because if he can start really flying around and getting off-ball screens from guys and then just be in constant motion, then I think that can really freak out a defense, and that could create a lot more opportunities for Bogdan and Collins and Gallo and Capella, Kongwu and Herter and all these guys. And again, I think Bogdan's ball handling and playmaking and shot creating potential allows Trae to do that a little bit more. I think Trae can sit and their offense won't fall apart now. That's a good thing as well. Maybe Bogdan could be the main ball handler in those sorts of situations. Now, the Hawks also signed Chris Dunn. We'll have to see how many minutes he gets. I imagine it would have been more before this signing. And when we think about the defense overall, which is, of course, the main reason you signed Chris Dunn, so it's Bogdan, Gallo, John Collins, and Capella, I'm assuming, is the starting lineup around Trae. Is that a good enough defensive starting five to make up for Trae Young? To be honest, I don't know. I mean, they have the size. You know, Bogdan, 6'6", Collins is 6'9", 6'10", Gallo is 6'7", 6'8", whatever, and Capella has proven to be a pretty versatile defender. So, in some ways it is, but there's not exactly a lot of lockdown defenders on this team. I think DeAndre Hunter has the potential to be that, and Chris Dunn probably already is that. Is that enough, especially when it's two guys who are probably going to be coming off the bench? Now, I guess I should say Okongwu as well, but number one, he's a rookie. It's tough for rookies to be good on defense. It's not impossible. I mean, Wendell Carter was good defensively when he was a rookie, and everybody's saying Okongwu is going to be awesome there. But given that he's probably a front court player and you've already got two who expect to play a lot of minutes, it's like, just how often is Okongwu really going to be able to get in there? I mean, I think he's going to play over 20 minutes a game and stuff, but I don't know, you just might not be maximizing his skill set to help out Trae Young. So this roster could be a little bloated. I think somebody's going to have to get pushed out of the rotation a little bit, and again, it could be a trade incoming to get off of somebody, and if Collins really wants a max contract, then it could end up being him. So we'll see what they decide to do there. Maybe they can make all these guys work. Maybe somebody's got to get pushed out of the rotation or whatever, but the Hawks suddenly have a whole lot of players who are going to want to take shots. They have maybe the worst defensive player in the league, and their main defensive guys are coming off the bench as of right now. But hey, Collins made some strides there. Bogdan is not bad on defense. Gallo is at least big, and Capella is a good defensive player. So maybe that combined with sprinkling in your Okongwu and Chris Dunn minutes and DeAndre Hunter and stuff will be enough to have this team be, mid-tier defensively. And then the hope with this signing and the Gallo one is that they can be really, really good on offense. A top 10 offense, I guess. I mean, you're talking Trae Young pick and rolls. You got Collins who can cut. You have Okongwu and Capella who can cut to the basket or stand at the dunker spot. Okongwu shows potential to do stuff off the dribble. You have Gallo and Bogdan who can play off of all that, but also create their own offense at times. Herter can shoot. Hunter had a pretty okay offensive season. Cam Reddish definitely looked like a rookie in his first year. We'll see if he can build on the last month or so of last season. And so yeah, the pieces are definitely there for the Hawks to have a pretty versatile offense with a few guys who can do stuff. If we think about the next couple of years for Atlanta, so I believe the Bogdan contract is 4 years, Gallo's is 3 years, and Chris Dunn's is 2 years. So, the Chris Dunn one is a player option for the second year. But the point being is this is kind of going to be the Atlanta Hawks for a minute. I mean, they still have ammo for moves between the young guys, their own picks, and we've talked about Collins enough, but this is kind of it. I think the past 2 years they were content with not being good for the sake of getting a couple extra picks and seeing what they had, but they've made their swing. They're now entering the realm of actual NBA team looking to have success around a star player, and we'll just have to see how they do. I mean, if we're projecting this team to hope to be a title contender one day, maybe it just comes down to what you think John Collins' ceiling is. I mean, I think you can find a lot of differing opinions on the guy. I am cool with him. I wouldn't want to give him a max contract. I don't really know if they want to either. I had one person in my Instagram DMs say that he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day, so take that for what you will. But I guess the Eastern Conference is a little more competitive now. I mean, you're thinking at the bottom, you're talking the Bulls, the Hawks, the Wizards, the Magic. I think the Hornets put themselves in that discussion with the Gordon Hayward signing. We'll have to see how good LaMelo is right away. I might end up doing a second video on the Hayward signing because that might not have been a good decision by the Hawks, or the Hornets, to give him all that money and go for it a little faster than you might want to. But yeah, for the Hawks, I mean, they got Bogdan. Shout out to Buddy Hield, and that's it.